Hi everyone, and welcome back to Ask Alexa Therapy Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and thank you again for sending in all your questions. Remember, send your questions to info@askalexatherapy.com. Also, be ready for my new episode, which will be out this week, Ask Alexa, the Alexa Show, answering questions from you, the viewers. During this show, I'll be answering many questions that will also be addressed in my new book, Your Walk in Life, which will be coming out soon. At the end of the show, I'll be giving more details about Zoom and in-person workshops and book signings. Well, let's get to our tonight's question. Dear Ask Alexa Therapy, I've heard you discuss numerous times negative monologues and positive affirmations. How do I use mine to learn and grow from? Great question. And I think, all of us have at some point negative monologues that run in our head, negative thoughts that run in our head. And it doesn't have to be a bunch of sentences. It could be just certain words. What a negative monologue really is how we are speaking to ourselves. And it might not have originated from ourselves. It might have come from a family member, an employer, a teacher, a loved one when we were younger or during our current situation. And this negative monologue sits in our brain either subconsciously or consciously, and it's almost like a lens how we see the world. Even though we might not be looking at it on every moment, day-to-day basis, but it's almost in the back of our mind, like a lingering thought. So when we're looking at different situations, different interactions, different goals or things for the future, a lot of times these negative monologues will take over and cloud them. So I think it's so important, one, that you've been identifying your negative monologues and catching yourself. And I think sometimes at first it's hard because we don't realize they're coming. But then once we start hearing it, and there are different things like negative monologues like, this is never going to happen. Some examples, it's never going to work out. I don't ever deserve that. Nothing ever goes right for me. I'm always going to be alone. These are different types of negative monologues. So once you start identifying your negative monologue, I'd want to know the duration, the origin, the onset, the frequency, and the intensity, and just jot down different steps so we can really identify when and where and how these negative monologues are impacting your quality of life. Once you do that, I would also pair it with a positive affirmation. This doesn't have to be the exact opposite of the negative monologue, but it's something that almost rings true to you. Doesn't mean you have to completely agree with it, because a lot of times people will have low self-esteem or not have a strong sense of self. They don't believe in these positive affirmations. They don't believe in what they're saying. That's okay in the beginning, because just as long as it's taken for these negative monologues to build and grow and become this unwanted anchor in our lives, positive affirmations can do the same. Always give the positive the same weight you're going to give the negative. Don't let the negative outweigh the positive. So once you have a negative monologue and you catch yourself speaking to yourself in a negative way, I want you to conquer it. Counteract it with a positive monologue. I am good enough. Today's going to be a good day. I'm going to be happy. I am happy. Things are getting better. And by doing this, we're training the brain to think once we think negative, we're going to switch to positive. And at first it's going to seem like work and it's going to seem like, why am I doing this? But time and time again, practice, you'll start to really realize your brain, your negative monologue will start automatically transferring to the positive monologue. And that is where you utilize your growth. That is where you start learning more about yourself. But also you start to empower yourself because you know these negative monologues are just not going to run with it and just take over your mindset and always that outlook in life. So thank you so much for writing in this question. And I think it's so important that I chose this question tonight because I cover this exact topic in my new book, Your Walk in Life, which will be coming out soon. So I will be hosting different workshops in person and Zoom, and we'll be doing different exercises like this, identifying negative monologues, positive affirmations, and how to use them on a day-to-day basis and be able for you yourself to really start healing, reprocessing, and growing. So I'm really, really so excited. This is just the touch of the iceberg that's going to be in my second book. And I'm really excited to finally get to see all of you viewers, either in person in Zoom, because your questions are really powerful. They're really amazing. And I think it's so important that you know you're not alone and that this community is here. So again, keep sending in any questions to info@askalexatherapy.com, and also look out for my new episode, The Alexa Show, Ask Alexa. We'll also be covering different topics that I'll be addressing in my new book. Hi, Dawn Marie and Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in, and Dawn. So tonight is just so incredible, and thank you so much for tuning in. Keep sending in your questions. Keep believing in yourself. And know you can always take one step in front of the other. Everyone, have a good night, and God bless.